Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Under Hood Show, presented by Milholland Ford. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Hey, it's not sunny and 70 today.
Somewhere it is.
Just not here.
Yeah.
It's going to be raining. So, anyway, hey, it's a happy Saturday morning. It's a call-in show. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, or hey, you know what? It's KU K-State game. We'll talk about that, too, if you want to.
There you go.
316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, or batteries, and anything you don't understand, or you want to talk about anything in the racing world, the automobile world, whatever, let's go. And you get a great prize package value. Again, Josh, over $130. We still have yet to do that. I will tell you, when I got up this morning, I thought about calling you, text, hey, let's figure that number out. But we didn't. That's okay.
So I started out to do that. I for real started out to do that this morning, and then I had a young man come in, currently going to a Votech school and looking at getting into the industry. And so Kelly and I spent a little bit of time with him this morning and toured him around and stuff. And that definitely took more precedence over figuring out what.
I think so too. We're still telling the truth. It's over $130.
Yeah. Nobody's misleading anybody here. And then, as I've said before, is the value on the multi-point inspection and what you put that at. And, that's exactly. I think that's huge for sure.
Exactly. So anyway, Josh, for each and every caller, what's in that package?
Yeah, so we're going to send it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hamilton Ford. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then 44K for your fuel system, as well as that multi-point inspection that we were talking over, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle, just making sure that it's geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So,
all right, let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. That number comes right in the front desk. Tell the girls you're going to get patched in the podcast, and we'll get you on the air here with your question. So anyway, Josh, as much as I hate to say it, fall is upon us. It's getting cold.
It's almost November. Like I was looking at the calendar today.
A week from today, it is November.
It's absolutely crazy. And I think I don't even want to know when the date is, but I'm pretty sure I think it's like next weekend on the time change deal, which I don't know. Yeah, I know. Anyways, yes. So you are correct. I think fall is right around the corner for sure.
So anyway, a couple things I thought about this morning on the way to work as I'm driving in the rain.
Okay.
Knowing it's getting cold. And a couple of things we need to do to our cars as we're running down the highways and doing these 5,000-mile interval services instead of, the 3,000-mile services of some things that I know I want to do. My cars are kind of sitting in storage kind of situations because you and I get to drive demos. But if I had my car today and it was due for service, what I would do differently because it's winter. Okay. So several things I thought of. Number one is I know for sure that I'm going to do what we call the GDI oil change because I need a service. I got my 5,000 miles done, and I'm going to put that GDI or engine restore is what they call it. Isn't it what's called?
Yeah.
So what that is, everybody, is as your engine's driving down the road, no matter what fuel you're putting in it, what driving conditions you're doing there, that engine's developing carbon. And years ago, we had what we called cast iron rings. And those rings wore the cylinder rolls really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got these low friction rings, which makes engines spin up faster and build more compression and all that kind of stuff. But what we're finding out there is that carbon still gets behind those rings, but they're more acceptable to getting gummed up and then not being able to move around the cylinder to seal it. It just locks them together and they can't do anything. But that engine restore, or the GDI that we call it, goes in and knocks all that carbon loose off those rings and gets them back doing it what it's supposed to do.
Be able to seal up.
If I was doing oil changes on my car, I would be doing a GDI every time. I'd put a can of what we do. We put a can of clean of the engine restore in the engine and let it run for about 15 minutes, right?
Yep.
First real question is, we've got to get it to operating temperature to make it work correctly because it's got to have the heat in the chemical to make it work.
Yeah.
And I'd be cleaning that engine every time just to keep those rings moving so they'll seal that cylinder off and give me the most compression, the most fuel mileage, and the most power.
The best performance out of the engine for sure.
Yeah.
And it's we happen to go down to BG this week, and one of the analogies that they use that honestly, out on all the BG training that I've been through or a part of and stuff like that, I'd not heard it before, but a barbecue grill, and
Yeah, I know.
the buildup that happens on a barbecue grill, and they related that to an engine side of things, and that's exactly
There's no,
that's
that's
a great
100% true.
analogy
100% true
to
what
what
that's
that
doing.
looks like, for sure. And I put this EPR chemical in the same category from a consumer standpoint of like a headlight restoration or a brake that's warping, is that when you're the consumer that's driving this vehicle every day, and you're losing the performance or the headlight,
Gradually.
over a long period of time, like you really don't notice that there's a loss of power or a loss of light or a brake pulsation that's kind of starting to develop or come on. But when you're that person that jumps in this vehicle and just is driving it for the first time or whatever, these are things that you kind of pick up on. And we've had multiple people on that engine restoration or the EPR portion of this that notice a considerable difference, because it's almost kind of like turning on a light switch and giving you extra horsepower right then and there,
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. So that's the first thing I want to do is I'm going to run that engine restore through there. So we're going to run that engine about 15 minutes with that chemical in there and keep that clean. But I'm going to do it every time. The reason I'm going to do it every time is because I want to make sure it stays clean. I don't want to get to the point where it's so bad we're having to clean it, because you're never going to get 100% out of there if you wait to go that long before you start putting that in that engine. Now, I would say on a brand new engine, I would probably wait till I got about 20,000 miles on it before I started putting it in there. I get rough guess. But again, that's going to depend on how much highway driving you're doing versus in-town driving.
So obviously, that service to me is, so mileage does play a factor into it, but like you said, in town versus highway driving, and then so to me it's almost per fuel consumption, right? So if you were to map it out, you do one after so many tank fulls or tank fill ups or something along those lines. But
that could be another good thing too.
And then too, I think that would be dependent upon using the 44K product within that service, as to your intervals of which you would do that as well, because that's gonna make that fuel burn a little cleaner.
Yep.
As well during the 44K, using the 44K. So
yep. So then as the next thing I'm going to do is, we all know we have an interval of 5,000 miles. Some of us go longer, which we shouldn't. But that interval of that oil for 5,000 miles, it starts off at 100% protection. As you get going through that 5,000 miles of driving, that protection starts to fall off. It's just normal. Oil is going to wear out. So then I would be topping that off with some MOA, motor oil additive. And what that does is that's going to keep that protection level through that whole 5,000 miles of that interval of changing that oil, just to keep that extra protection in there. And remember, the most wear on an engine happens when you start it cold. That's because there's no oil there. There's nothing in there to help lubricate those components. But it does take seconds before it starts getting oil.
Well, and that part of it changes too as the ambient temperature changes as well. So starting a cold engine on a 90-degree day versus starting a cold engine on a 30-degree day,
night and day difference.
It's going to be
that oil is going to take 3 times as long to get where it needs to get to
where it's going.
And that's where these oils have gotten so much better, that the most popular oil out there now is a multi-synthetic oil, which the more synthetic you put in oil, the quicker it gets to those places that it needs to get to. So that's also one reason why we can go 5,000 mile on intervals instead of 3, is because these oils are so much better than what they were years ago. And I get it. So putting that MOA in there is just going to keep that protection level on that motor through that whole 5,000 miles of driving, and make sure you're protecting the wear particles as much as you can from that part. And then as I'm driving in the rain, you know what my third thing was?
Well, wiper blades for sure.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Okay, wiper blades. We don't think about wiper blades until we need them.
Until you turn them on. Yeah.
Turn them on. That wasn't where I was going.
Okay.
That is another good point.
Well, tires would be.
I wouldn't even go in there yet, John. I'm thinking of it's getting cold.
Okay.
Humidity's crazy in the air today. Where's a lot of that humidity going to end up at? Our fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
in the winter, it's really crucial to keep that fuel tank half a tank or higher. When it gets to half a tank, starts filling it up. Keep it full from that part, because basically, the more room you give in that tank of air to be in there, the more chances of condensation to gather up, and the condensation turns into water, and water is heavier than fuel, and that ends up in the bottom of your tank where your pickup or where your fuel pump picks up all that moisture, and that's the first thing that's going to run through your engine is that condensation. Uh, now, the also keeping that fuel in there keeps that fuel pump cool,
Yeah.
because that's a little electric motor in there running, and it's putting out. Every car's a little differently, but what do you think the average fuel pressure now is? Is it 50 pounds?
Well, so, and that's, with these modern vehicles, we've got high, high, uh, high fuel pressure systems and low fuel pressure systems in them too. And so, but yeah, as far as the low side, which is typically your tank up to, an engine bay or a high pressure pump, side of that things, I would say, we're 60, 65 PSI.
Yep.
And then there's some out there that are around 30. So yeah, I would say average would be around that.
Somewhere around 50 pounds of pressure that is putting out there. So just think about the heat that's generated. If you keep that fuel level on there, how much longer that fuel pump's going to live. But also, the biggest thing I'm after is these cold temperature months. Just keep that gap of air from the top of the tank to where your fuel level's at, to not let that condensation there. But that brings me to the next thing is what I've been putting in my fuel tank today is our good old fuel dryer from BG.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I keep that condensation out of that fuel pump and out of that fuel tank. And that what that does, it does basically, it's an additive that goes in the fuel tank and actually takes that condensation and mixes it up and makes it to where it's burnable. I can't think if it does that, but it does it.
Are there more? There got to be more. So
There's more scientific to it.
now, is there more half glass empty or half glass half full people out there? So are there more people out there that run on the top half of their fuel system, or are there more people that run on the bottom half of their fuel system?
I'm going to say more on the bottom half.
I would agree with that too.
But I'm still telling you, you'd save yourself over the long haul of your vehicles and stuff is keeping it on the top. Even the summer months. I mean, even in the summer, as hot as it gets and stuff like that, that fuel pump.
Well, and I don't think people even realize, that that's an electric motor and it's in there, and that when you think of fuel or gasoline as a coolant, that's out of the normal, right?
Yeah. But it is. It's keeping that little motor cool and all the pressure that's running and all that kind of stuff too. So put a little fuel dryer in there, and there's a lot of those in the market area you can go get it. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them that don't do anything for you. We've had tests over the years of that stuff too. So the real additive or the chemical that needs to be in the fuel dryer is isopropyl alcohol. I can't believe I can say that, but I can say it. That's an awful big word for me.
Studied up on that today.
Yeah, I did. So anyway, that is the additive. But again, we sell that BG products here with the fuel dryer. That's really the best stuff there is. Now, the next thing we can get into, because that's what I would do. Of course, now you said tires, which I get that too, and wiper blades, I get that too. But that's all that stuff is included when we do this multi-point inspection too. When you come in for your 5,000 mile service.
Mm-hmm.
Now the next thing is diesels. Where we're coming into winter now, is there's a lot of difference on those diesels today.
There is
from that part. So, diesels, guys, you need to be putting an additive in that fuel tank every fill up. My opinion, because they took the sulfur out of the fuel in those high injection fuel pumps that are pushing all that pressure through there and stuff. They need that lubrication that they don't have now with that sulfur taken out of that diesel.
Yeah, sulfur provided a source of lubrication to all these components, and man, just the diesel fuel system, and we're starting to see it now a lot more on the gas side of things too, is they run at such a higher pressure to make that fuel almost more of a vapor as it's getting injected into the cylinders, with the advancement of direct injection and the higher fuel rail pressures makes these vehicles way more fuel efficient than what they've ever been. But especially when it comes to diesel and the lack of the sulfur in the fuel takes the lubrication out of those components, and when they're running that higher pressures too, it's huge to be able to have them lubricated.
So that's one thing it does, but also putting some additive in there to keep that intake clean, keep the valves clean, all that kind of stuff. Because the diesel still are going to make a lot of, I'm going to call it soot.
Yeah.
Coming out of there. So a lot of people We have now the DEF systems on these trucks that filter that out and then exhaust. And a lot of guys don't like that and want to take it off and do all that kind of stuff. And I get it. Back in, I think it was '08, if I'm correct, is when they made us start putting, they made the manufacturers start putting filters on those diesels. But that basically was they just put
Just
that in the
added it.
exhaust. The
Yeah.
truck wasn't designed for it, wasn't set up for it or nothing to do that. But again, as soon as someone has an issue with the DEF system, they're going to yank it off, delete it, do all that kind of stuff. But these new trucks have been designed to run that DEF system to keep them cleaner and all that kind of stuff. And somebody says, well, you're taking your EGR, you're taking your gases and throwing them right back through there again and breathing the dirty air again. I get that, but it's still got to come out the emissions out the tailpipe that the manufacturer's got to meet. But if you still put some good cleaner through there, keep the oil change, keep the fuel filters changed. That's another thing on the diesels is fuel filters.
Fuel filters. Yeah.
Keeping them clean and keeping that all stuff in there, these trucks will run forever. But miss oil changes and don't put additives in there, don't change your fuel filters and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Then you are going to start building a whole bunch more carbon in these diesels than what you normally would. And that's when they start getting sluggish and everything else from that part. And they can't breathe because all the air intake runners get clogged up. And I've seen some videos out there that are, I mean, I can't believe it's got that much carbon built in it, but it's just because there's no maintenance.
Well, I've also seen some videos out there of, a diesel sitting up at a stoplight and you got the big old tailpipe sitting out the side and the light turns green and there's just, it looks
big
like
old black.
It looks like a train.
And here's what I want.
There.
That's what I say. Well, we don't want our exhaust gases going back through that intake and coming back through and burning again. How much fuel deposit do you think that guy's putting inside that engine?
So yeah, and I don't know what, every time I see one of those deals, I think, man, this poor second owner on that deal,
well, well, in the life that he's just taken out of that truck.
Yeah. Just robbing the,
the
life of it.
This popped in my head. It was about a year ago. I was in my 500 and I pulled over there on 96 in Meridian and I seen this guy come up to the stoplight and he's got that big old tailpipe, hanging out there. And of course he romps on him, puts the old black smoke out, so he's trying to show me he's got his horsepower up and everything. And I looked at him and I thought, guy, don't do it. Please don't do it. So the stoplight turns green. He fucking takes off and I let him get about a car length on me, and then I gave her about half throttle, blew him away. He drove on by with his tail behind him as he finally caught me from that part. I get to those diesels. You can boost them up. You can do all kinds of stuff and make all kinds of fun.
Well, and I will say too that think of moving a vehicle that size that quick, and I just don't understand from my perspective is knowing what you're doing internally to that engine by putting that much fuel to it and things like that. Like, I don't understand from a longevity perspective, but also you take one of these brand new diesels, one of these 6.7s, and go run it, and like you just don't need any more horsepower or torque or that. They're impressive.
I mean,
they're just flat impressive.
Yeah, the new 6.7 high output. I mean, it's got so much torque, so much power. And the best example I can give everybody is, when we're racing and stuff, and we've weighed it, so we know we're pulling about 20,000 pounds with it, with our trailer and everything we have in there, and going to Hayes to race those big old hills out there. That truck still stays in 10th gear, running 75 or 80 mile an hour, and it never downshifts. It's just got so much torque and so much stuff. And like you said, Josh, why do you need any more? What are you gaining?
What are you gaining on it, for sure?
Hey, anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, it's the number to call in. Anything ailing your car, we'd love to hear from you. Jeremy Kane has a 75 Trans Am, hard to start. What's the best way to get start easier? 2-burrow carb. Well, Jeremy, that's a wide open question, buddy. I got all kinds of things coming to my head here too. Is it cranking slow? So is that a battery issue? Is that a battery cable issue? Is it a starter issue? Is the alternator not charging up a good
timing
enough?
Is another thing.
The next thing is it is it cranking over right? Where's your timings at? 75 Trans Am, so that's got electronic ignition. Man, buddy, there's so many things there that could. Next thing is the carburetor draining its fuel back, not holding the fuel in there, so it's got to crank over longer to get fuel inside that carburetor or whatever. But Jeremy, there's so many things on there to look at on that car to figure that out. What's going on there too is
the choke set,
right? Yeah, there's so many different things there to look at, Jeremy, to know exactly what's happening with your car. Anyway, 316-462-3673. Let's get on the phone. Let the phone's ringing. Love to hear from you. Get a great price package valued over $130 for each and every caller. Anyway, so diesels, we talked about putting additive in there for the wintertime.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's also year round, in my opinion, for these diesels.
Well, so we didn't really talk about the anti-gel side of that very much.
Yeah.
So we were talking about just kind of the additives for the diesels to help with the removal of sulfur from the fuels. But you know, the where we see a lot of influx on diesels for sure is that very first cold snap, right? Where it gets extremely cold, and we didn't pre-treat fuel with any type of anti-gel previous to that. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is, you know, that anti-gel, it has to have time to be in the tank and mix up and work before the weather gets cool. You're supposed to have that stuff in there
Before 40 degrees.
Yeah, before 40 degrees. And you know, a lot of people think, okay, well, now I'm down to freezing, I'm going to go throw some anti-gel in it, and it's too little too late, right?
And you can't just throw it in when it gets cold and think it's going to not gel your fuel up and start your truck.
Yeah.
It's got to be in there beforehand to be mixed in and all that kind of stuff too. But now again, even if it's 0 out and you've got the truck running and it's hot, and you can pour the stuff in running, it'll still work and mix in good when the engine's hot and all that kind of stuff too. But trying to pour it in when it's cold, you're too late.
It's too little too late. And so that's definitely, you know, towards this time of year, it's something that needs to be on your mind and thinking about using at Phillips for sure.
Yep.
And then I've seen cases or situations where a system has gelled up, and again, with the pressures that these things are running, I mean, I've seen them completely. So the diesel turns into almost a wax. I mean,
yeah,
essentially kind of like a candle, but yet your fuel system and pump and everything are still trying to operate and work. And I've seen it destroy or almost suck apart a diesel fuel filter trying to get that wax pulled through that system to operate the truck. But then again, so you have a component that's demanding this extreme high fuel pressure, but only getting, you know, minimal amounts of that. Think of the damage that it's doing to those components as well in that process. Or when you've got you know, injectors that are designed to be spraying this extremely fine mist out of a liquid, but then you get a waxy substance in there, and you know, think of what it's doing to those components as well. And so it's just not an all around good thing. And the fuel systems on these diesels, again, they're phenomenal in their design and how they operate and work, but it's a very almost, I would call it a precision setup, right?
Yeah,
and
very precise.
The expense of these fuel systems. Had a gentleman the other day that you know, that got unleaded gasoline in his diesel, and it was an extremely expensive repair to do. By the time you get injectors and pumps and stuff like that, you're upwards of $10,000-$15,000 pretty easy on a fuel system, which is crazy.
Real quick. So anyway, diesels, make sure you're putting some additive in there. BG's got the great products in there for you too to help you keep that diesel system running year round, not just in the winter, year round. So Jeremy Kane, cranks good, but have to pump like hell to get it to start. Well, Jeremy, now we've eliminated a lot of things there too. But the first thing is, Josh said it earlier, is the choke working. So the first thing you want to do, Jeremy, is take that air cleaner off when the engine's cold and put the accelerator to the floor and see if the butterfly on top of the carburetor goes completely closed. That's the first thing, because then it's choking that thing off to make it start. Next thing if that is going closed, then the next thing is we need to look at is what's the fuel pump doing? Is the fuel pump pumping enough fuel in there to get that carburetor to go from that part? But the first thing is, Jeremy, get that engine cold, pull the air cleaner off, and you can do it right there. Just take your carburetor and make the accelerator and move it wide open and see if the goddamn nose is itching crazy. And see if that butterfly goes closed. And if it is, then we need to start looking at fuel pressure to see what the fuel pump's doing from that part too. So, Jeremy, hope that helps. Anyway, 316-462-3673. Let's get the phones ringing. Tell the girls at the front desk you want to get past you in the podcast. We'll get you on here with your great question and get you a great price package valued over $130 for each and every caller. Anyway, Josh, KU K-State game today.
What time's that?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
At KU.
Yeah,
sold out. I saw that too.
Oh, really?
Sold out crowds. That's going to be a great
How's
game.
that going to go?
I don't know, man. It's great. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good game. From that part. So we'll see how that kicks off at 11 o'clock. And I wonder what the weather's doing in Lawrence. I wonder if it's raining there too. Probably is.
Yeah, I bet it's I bet you get the same about the same weather there as here. It looked like it was pretty much all over the state.
Wasn't all over the state. Okay.
Are we getting an update on Jeremy's? Oh,
I told him what he's going to do, but so far not. Delbert's just joining us. He's been working on an app on his TV. Well, hope you got it fixed there, Delbert. Sometimes I fight around those TVs too, trying to get those apps to work. And I wish the TVs were like a PC, but they just don't work like that. They don't.
well, yeah.
It drives me nuts. Anyway, so I feel your pain there, Delbert.
Getting everything to connect up all the time, right?
Yes, drives me nuts. So anyway, Josh, what else is exciting? And kind of talked all about what's getting your cars ready for winter, and winter's around the corner. I hate to say that. I can't stand it. I hate it.
One of the things I wondered when we were, so as I mentioned, we went down to BG earlier this week, but what do you suppose the average miles between services that people drive is?
The average?
Yeah.
No idea. I'd hate to guess that number, but I bet it's more than 5,000.
You know what I'm saying? Between all the, oh yeah, it's got to be way more. I mean, I'm going to say, I bet it's 10,000, 7,500, 10,000. I mean, it's a number that you're never going to know, right? Just because, but and where I guess I was headed with that is just as reliable as these vehicles have become and how they operate and stuff from a consumer standpoint, it's so easy just to go past, just to keep driving them, just to keep,
because they run.
They'll go. They run. They keep going.
We just don't understand what the life we're taking out of our
and then the
investment we've made in these cars today.
Yeah, and then the manufacturers, go through and put these lights on, the service interval lights that come on, and they don't line up with what should be performed with the vehicle and stuff like that. And but anyways, yeah, that's where I was headed with that. And then also the importance of like an EPR. Or a GDI service to go along with that. And if you're one of those consumers that are running more life out of your vehicle than probably what you should be, and then I think going back, kind of beating that multi-point inspection portion of it again is like, okay, now not only just the service on the vehicle and the wear and tear on the engine that's added after that oil is deteriorated and no longer really protecting anything, but what about checking the vehicle over and looking at the tires and looking at the brakes and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's just not about changing your oil. Like everybody thinks that's what needs to be done. Granted, that needs to be done. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But to run that long and not be able to have someone look over a mechanical piece of equipment that wears, that breaks, that's going to have issues. And it's like whenever I sell somebody a new car, the first thing I tell them, I can promise you one thing. It's going to break sometime. Don't know when it's going to happen either, but I will promise you it's going to break, because it is. It's a mechanical piece of equipment where so many wearing items and all that kind of stuff, even with all this electronics that's in this thing, 1 minute the electronics can be good, the next minute they're bad. There's no way to predict that or whatever either from that part. So that's why when I'm telling that to consumers when they buy their cars from me, I'm telling that for a reason, because I want them to buy an extended warranty, a good one like we have, to protect you, not just one that's fly by night, the ones we get involved with, Josh, here, that people buy and everything else too. But you need to have some protection, because you just never know when these things are going to break. And a lot of people say, I'll take the gamble, Hey, it's great. Go ahead, take a gamble and see what happens. But I promise you it's going to break.
Ran across a new a first time the other day on an extended warranty, and being in this
first
time situation on an extended warranty. And I don't even remember the name of the extended warranty, and I would certainly share it if I could remember off the top of my head. But so it was one that a customer had purchased, off of a phone call, is the way I understood it from the customer, which to me, that's red flag number one, right? But whatever, they had done it. And so I think I was trying to remember the component. It was an oil leak, and I want to say it was leaking from like an intake manifold, something along those lines. Anyways, the labor time guide. So, there's multiple different sources of data out there for labor time standards, but they're all relatively close, right? So there's a Mitchell and an All Data, and a Motors and a Chilton's, and then you have manufactured kind of labor times, and we have access to all these labor times, and this entire job through all these different sources of labor time standards was extremely close. I mean, they were like 14.1 hours to 15 hours in
It's
order
very
to
close. Yeah,
do
on,
this
on that
job.
big of a job.
And so this particular extended warranty company had endorsed or is producing their own labor time standards. I was like, dude, what?
I'm gonna guess already. What did they hit you hitting back at 10 hours?
9.8 hours.
There you go.
to do this job. And I was like, okay, how does that work? So, I mean, and to the customers, like that's, I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. It was just, you're just flat taking advantage of a customer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real other way around it. I couldn't believe it. And we had document after document after document that supported, what we were asking for in this deal. And I just couldn't believe it. I was blown away by it. And
Yep. So, so they got some coverage. Okay, but not
correct.
the correct coverage they probably paid for. Of course, who
Yeah.
knows what they paid for that warranty either.
Yeah.
From that part. But just realize that when you're getting those phone calls on the deal, that they're just trying to sell you. They're trying to get your money. And one of the ones I hear on the radio too, there was so much, just pay us per month. Okay. Yeah, we're just trying to get your money. That's all that is. And then I got Danica Patrick out there introducing one, Endurance. We've had more issues with those kind of warranties and stuff like that. It's crazy. Buy a reputable warranty. If you don't know what you got going on, come let us help you. We'll sit down with you and help you. Get a warranty that's going to protect you and fix you when you have a problem. Not try to not fix a claim, not pay a claim, or try to pay half of a claim or whatever it might be from that part too.
And I think it's part of being on this side of the business, right? Is I can't tell you that I've ever really been involved in a situation where a customer was not grateful that they ended up having a warranty, right? Because it doesn't matter what your preference of vehicle is to drive or what nameplate's on the front of it. That nameplate has a service department, right? And there's a reason for that, because again, it's going to break. It's going to have an issue at some point during that ownership, and it's just a matter, in my opinion, of having that extra coverage, like life insurance, right? Nobody wants to use it, but everybody's going to need it at some point. So
there you go. Anyway, Jeff Daniel driving a 24 F-150 Platinum Hybrid, just got home from a 2,300 mile trip, 281 miles on electric. Not bad, huh? Kind of curious, Jeff, what was your did you keep an overall average fuel economy on that trip? I'd like to know that one too. But yeah, 281 miles on electric. Think about the fuel economy on that one. So
281 miles?
281 miles out of the 2,300 were on electric.
Wow. That's awesome.
It is. I'm a big hybrid fan. Everybody, if you don't believe me or not, if you're trying to buy something today and it's a hybrid, it's the way I'd go in a heartbeat. That's the best of both worlds. You don't have to plug it in.
They have them so seamless. I can remember
19.1 miles to the gallon
on an F-150. Yeah.
2,300.
And so to go along with that is what was his average speed?
Yeah, you got that, Jeff? You have your average speed too?
I don't know. Is it that he would know that? But you know what I'm saying?
I don't think that
that's
tracks
going to
the
be
speed.
On that trip, that's a lot of highway miles in there.
The other thing I'd like to know is on the Blue Cruise, how many miles are Blue Cruise to?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was looking the other day. I was looking at a Blue Cruise map, and I don't even remember what got me down that. I was helping.
I said it could have been better, but put it on the way.
Well,
home.
that's what. Yeah. God, that's a long. They make planes, right? I think we've had this discussion before, but yeah.
Yeah, they do make planes, don't they?
I was looking up a Blue Cruise map the other day, and they are starting to get a lot more areas that stuff covers, and too, just the system in general is getting so much better. Now with the 2.0 and the change in lanes and stuff like that, for sure.
Okay, so to bring that up, I was demoing the Blue Cruise yesterday in my truck.
Okay.
Yeah, not many Blue Cruise miles because the damn thing only goes to 80. I know. I don't like that.
I don't
either.
understand that. They gotta change that. I'm guessing
I
here
had
before
to
too long.
too. But anyway, I was demoing that with a customer. And the first thing they said to me was, "This is the easy way to get yourself out of a DUI." I thought, well, hey, easy there.
Not endorsed.
Not endorsed. No, not at all. So we were just in the car and we were, showing how the lane work changed and did all that stuff. And then I even tried to, be beside a car and turn my turn signal on because that's all you do is turn your turn signal on and then it'll just move over to the other lane. But I was just going along another car, hit the turn signal and it won't go. Your light's not monitor starts flashing at you too. So it knows there's a car there and not getting there. So then we start talking about what's next. And what I think's next is you'll be able to put in your nav where you're going to go. And it's going to take you there. So it's not fully autonomous.
Yeah.
Because, the Blue Cruise still cuts in and out of different places, but it's going to know to get off the on-ramp and go and do the turns. It's what I think is next.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm wondering. So they have we have like speed limit recognition type stuff.
And I've turned that off. You know why I've turned that off?
Well, because every time you pass the speed limit sign, it sets the cruise back down to that amount again. Or what are you doing there?
I had it on for them when it first came out. I need to try it again, I guess, what I need to do. What I didn't like is you'd be cruising down the highway and you'd have an off ramp going down and it's 40 mile an hour and it hit that 40 mile an hour and shut you down to 40.
Yeah.
So maybe they fixed that now.
Yeah, I think probably in certain situations or places definitely could be possible. But the speed limit recognition's portion of it. But then what I was wondering is like a stop sign or traffic light recognition, to be able to. But then you got especially on a traffic light, okay, yellow, at what point does it go? At what point does it stop? So that maybe not so much the case. And the adaptive cruise, I mean, you can, if you're in traffic and there's somebody in front of you, you don't even have to do anything, right? It's just
I got on, and I hook up Apple CarPlay every time I get in my car, and I do hit to work and to home and everything else, just to do it. And just as I was starting to get on 96 highway Monday, it told me to take an alternate route, but I was too far. I was so stuck, getting on the 96 and I couldn't. And so I had from 96 Meridian all the way to Zoo Boulevard, traffic backed up everywhere. Told me it was going to take me 47 minutes to get to work. Okay. It didn't take that long, of course, because the traffic got moving, but I just hit my cruise. Okay, and sat back in there, and I went. I didn't worry about running in the back of anybody. None of that. I mean, it was so much more pleasurable. But even though I sat in there for, I think I looked at it, 23 minutes it took me to get through that traffic from 96 to Zoo, with all the wreck that was up there. It's right there at the bridge on Zoo Boulevard on 235. But not just knowing that I didn't have to worry about braking, stopping, somebody slamming the back of me, I'm slamming the back of them or whatever. It was so much more easy to do that. But from that part. Ford needs a police car recognition. It's called a radar detector, buddy. Valentine 1. There's one hanging in my dash every car I got. So, yeah, Jeff said the best about 12 hours was a seat massager for 12 hours.
Well, okay.
Yeah, well, I tell you, getting that race rig and start heading back from a 3, 4, 5 hour trip at 2 a.m. Yeah, those massager keep you awake too. That part. Hey, anyway, 316-462-3673. Let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Give away a great price package, about over $130.
So what's the next thing to come? What's the next standard option? Not standard option. Next option available. I don't know what the heck it'd be.
Yeah, like I said, I still think it's going to be the nav.
Just better on the.
You just put in where you're going. It's going to get you. It's going to cut the Blue Cruise on and off where it has to, and that kind of thing too, to keep you more well aware. But I still think it's going to get to where that part. And I did read an article the other day that GM is working on some fully autonomous stuff again. Where that'll come to fruition, whatever, I don't know either. I still think we're a long ways away from getting that set up. But who knows? The way technology is today, the way AI is going, I think there'll be a lot of stuff there too. But I don't know. We'll see that. When we went to the Ford show, we didn't see any.
Yeah, there was a minute. That was probably the least amount of
new products,
and that it has been in in a long time.
A long time. Yeah.
From my side of it, for sure. So,
Yep. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting what the manufacturers come up with and what they do and what they put in these cars to make it safer, keep us going from that part. Who knows? So
I'm still of the opinion is, where's my jetpack?
hey, now I did see a deal on Facebook just the other day where a gal's got this thing around the side of her. All of a sudden, and she's in the air. Well, it's real enough.
Well,
AI's out there too, so who knows if it's right or not.
I mean, I think it's awesome. She's got one, but where's mine?
Well, yeah, I get that too. I get that too. Then I seen a deal too of a guy had these things on his feet.
Okay.
He's walking on water.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Who knows if that's real though?
I know. AI. That's what's so sucky about that part.
Yeah.
I think AI is great. I think it's where it's moving, where it's going, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. But there's so many things out there I don't know if it's true because AI is jacking with you.
So this had nothing to do with anything automotive, but somebody was trying to tell me something the other day, and I was like, there's no way that's not true. And their source of reference was Instagram and Facebook. And I was like, okay, it's not true. That is not a thing. I said, bring me an encyclopedia that has that in it, and I'll believe you. Until then, it's not happening. It wasn't true.
Yeah. Who knows where AI is going to end up with us and all that kind of stuff from that part. But I get it. AI is smarter than us.
Yeah.
They can think quicker, put all those data into one thing and make it, give you what you need. But I think AI is going to grow fast. I think it's going to take over more things than we know. But I just want to be told the truth.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I don't want to be lied to or make some big fetch story up or anything else like that. Just tell me the truth. But I hope AI gets there from that part. And I think there's going to be a lot of things in the automobile world that AI is going to help.
I mean, just advancements in technology. The other side of it is, the manufacturers are starting to use it so much more for, obviously, you think of all the sources of data that they have, or all the information that they have just in repair manuals and stuff like that. They're starting to implement AI into those manuals to make it easier for technicians to locate things, locate the information that they need within their source. So in that situation, I think it's great. Now, when you start adding influxes of external sources to that as well, then it becomes obviously more convoluted or polluted with stuff that may be incorrect. But when they're using it for their own sources or resources that they have to help get them the answers they need at a quicker pace. The other day I was looking, I don't even remember what it was for. It doesn't matter, but it was trying to help a customer find an answer on a function or a option that they had on their vehicle. And I mean, I was in the owner's manual, I was in the workshop manual, I was in the buyer's guide, I was in the of all the different resources trying to find this.
So I think what AI could do to help you right there.
And that's where again, these manufacturers are implementing that to be able to help do that for sure.
And here's what I will say is another example. And I think I said this on the last couple shows ago or whatever, but in a sales meeting, I had a salesperson say, we started talking about AI. He said, they're going to replace us salespeople. I said, okay. Do you think AI can take a test drive? Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Do you think AI can sit there and do a walk around and show the customer all the feature benefits and advantages of that car? Yeah, it can help you get the information it needs, but how is AI going to do that? Okay. Can AI sit down and present numbers correctly with you and give you the right trade values? How's the AI going to help you? Can AI help your trade evaluation? So AI will help enhance your job. I really, truly believe, but it still can't replace a human.
Yeah.
It's kind of like everybody getting, everybody wants to buy everything online and all that kind of stuff. And hey, I'm a culprit of that too.
I think I just got a notification. Amazon was at your door right there.
Probably was right. No, don't doubt it a bit. But the other thing of what example I got too is, how do you get a haircut online?
Yeah,
can't happen. There's so many things there from that part we have to do it. Which going to
was that a personal attack? I need a haircut.
Jordan's going to call you up.
I was going to say.
Anyway, I'm going to vert way back to a story that I got told by probably one of the greatest salespeople I ever known in my life to help. That's taught me a lot of things over the world. But he says, okay, let's go back all the way back to the horse and buggy days. And So here comes Henry Ford and starts bringing these motorized cars in and eliminating horses. Well, all the guys that were in the stable making the saddles and doing all the stuff could have, pissed and moaned and just complained. But there was one guy decided, hey, you know what I'm going to do? Instead of making saddles, I'm going to make belts for those cars. And he adapted to what happens in the world. So he took that leather. And that's the first, and that is true. The first belts that were running on those Model A, Model Ts, I can't keep track of what those were. They were made out of leather. And so that guy, instead of making saddles and all the stuff he did with his leather, he started converting what he needed to do. Well, that was clear back in probably 1900s, early 1900s. What's no different what's happening today with AI? We have to learn to adapt and change and grow our businesses and keep people involved by adapting.
Well, and I think that's the same mentality that specifically in this industry, every position I think has to do that same thing.
Yes,
but
it's not just automobile world.
Yeah. But on the technical side, we talk about that all the time is the adapting, the changing, the understanding the new technology, stuff like that. Because if you don't, you're going to be left behind.
Yep.
for
Jeff's got
sure.
another example. Customer service is 90% of the deal.
Yeah.
AI can't provide that. There's no way.
Agree with that too.
No way. Now, can AI take some phone calls and stuff for you? Yeah. Can AI return some emails for you? Yeah. And I will tell you on the new iPhone and stuff, they've got that deal now that can proofread it for you, rewrite it, do all that kind of stuff. I hate to tell you, before I send a text anymore,
Yep.
I'm hitting that proofread button, make sure
make
it's
sure it's
right.
the way
And I
it
look,
needs to be.
dang,
Yeah.
how did I miss that?
Or that sounds better, or words better.
And it's still, everybody, take this for what it's worth. Texting is an informational tool only.
Yeah.
It's not a conversational tool. It is a informational tool only, not a conversational tool. So many people get misconstrued with text, no meaning in text, don't understand text. And it's no different than today when a good friend of mine and a good customer called me up and said, he texted me a couple pictures of the things that he was looking for, trying to help a buddy find a truck. And I just picked the phone and called him, had a better conversation, understanding where we're at and where we're headed. But so many times these texts get going and I get these books of texts and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's the younger generation doesn't want to get on the phone and talk. But I'm just still telling you, a text is a informational tool, not a conversational tool.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Whether you take my advice or not, I don't know. That's just my opinion. We all got one. Everybody's got, you know what?
Well, it just leaves the door open for misunderstandings,
hurt feelings,
yeah,
everything from that part. So anyway, Josh, it's we're running out of time. It's been a great show. Everybody, the comments coming through have been great. Everybody, keep your car ready for winter because I hate to tell you, it's coming. Can't stand it. Hate it with a passion, but it is what it is. And let's see who wins the KU State game today.
Who you rooting for?
I don't know.
You do too.
Anyway, and then let's tomorrow is the final cutoff race for NASCAR. See who's going to be the top four heading into the championship race at Phoenix. So that should be an interesting race again from that part too. A lot of exciting stuff going on. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. We'll talk to you next Saturday, 9 a.m. on the Underhood Show.